Hey guys, welcome back to Heart Breathings. I am so excited to see you here for our final video of 8, where I have been talking about some of the top lessons learned and top advice after 8 years of successful self-publishing. So today's tip is number 8, is the final tip on my list, even though I probably could go on and on about tips for a very long time. But one of my top tips for you is to focus on joy. Guys, it is so easy to get wrapped up in the business side of, marketing and hustle and, comparing and trying to be better, trying to, we want this career so badly. Most of us that get into this, we're doing it because we truly love to write. We really want to reach those readers. We've been admiring other authors for most of our lifetimes, and we just want to have that kind of career. But sometimes we want it so badly that, we're always focused on that next level, but I want to have that bestseller, or I want to have that breakout hit. And, it's really the kind of career, like I said in one of my earlier tips, that builds over time. It takes patience. It takes a long time to build up a successful career in writing, years most of the time. It can be easy to focus on, how badly we want it, how much we're not quite getting there, how long it's taking, all of those kinds of things. And it can be really easy in our pursuit of trying to get to that next level to kind of push the writing to the side, and the writing becomes really stressful because we're trying to do it really quickly, and we're trying to make sure that it fits into this mold of like books that are going to sell or whatever. And then we focus on the business side of it. Well, I need to focus on, putting out this many AMS ads, and I should be on every single, social media platform, and I need to be hustling over here and hustling over here. And before you know it, you could end up in a career where you're literally working 10 to 12 hours a day, hardly ever seeing your family. I know authors who are writing on Christmas Day, pulling up Facebook ads on New Year's Eve, never spending time with their family. They haven't been on vacation in years. And I was one of those writers just a few short years ago. I completely burned out and could not write anymore because I realized, I was working 60 plus hours a week, sometimes way more than 60 hours a week, which meant that I was not really sleeping a lot. I was hardly seeing my family, and I was stressed all the time because I was working so hard toward a goal that is very difficult to get when you're not focused on joy and you're not focused on, the things that truly matter. So one of the top tips that I have for you that I hope that you will hear from my heart to yours is that no matter where you are in this business, it is important to always keep your focus on joy. Yes, you have to learn the business side. You need to understand how to run a successful business because you are becoming a business owner when you become a self-published author. But if you want to be happy in this career, and I think that you wouldn't really be doing it if you didn't hope to be happy and successful, then you have to leave room for the joy in your career and in your life. And what happened to me was I hit this point where I was making multiple six figures. I had my very best years, or my very best few months of my entire career, and I fell into a very deep depression. And this is not unusual. It blew my mind to learn that, but it's really not unusual because I think that throughout my whole career, I just kept saying things like, I'll slow down when, I'll be happy when. And I always had some kind of qualifier, like I'll slow down when, I have a $25,000 month, or when I have a $30,000 month, or, once I hit 500,000 sales, I'll get to slow down a little bit. Or once I finish this series, I'll slow down. Once we have a bigger house, once we can afford XYZ, once we can get that new car, then I can slow down. And what I realized was I was constantly pushing my happiness down the road, like I was kicking a can down the road. I was constantly saying like, okay, well, now that I've got 500,000 sales, I'm still not satisfied. What I need to do is, I've really got to work a little bit harder, and I've got to work on this next goal. And I was pushing myself so hard, and I wasn't focused on the joy. I wasn't focused on why I loved to write and why I really wanted this career. I wasn't even focused on what I truly wanted. I was just focused on whatever that next big thing, the next house, the next big sale, the next this, whatever. And every time I would hit that next milestone, it wouldn't fulfill me. And I didn't understand why. So then I would push the can, kick the can down the road a little bit more, wait for that next milestone, work my butt off till I got it, I would hit it and I would think, why isn't this making me happy? And what I had to step back and realize once I had that huge burnout was that the milestones are great and we should celebrate every single one along the way, but it's really not those outside things, that moment in time. Oh, 500,000 sales, or, $20,000 a month, or, 2,000 fans in my Facebook group, or whatever. Those are not the things that are going to bring you joy. It's the day-to-day work that really makes up your life. All 500,000 sales is a moment in time where you go, cool, I sold 500,000 books. And it's awesome, and I'm grateful for it. And if you can get to that level, it is going to make you feel good, and you should go out to dinner and have a celebration and all of that stuff. But it is not like your life is suddenly different, or you suddenly are a happier person because you hit this level of income or you hit this level of sales. It doesn't change your life like that. It's just a thing you can now say about what you've accomplished. And it's wonderful and it's worth celebrating, but it is not going to drastically change your life to be able to just say that, oh, I did X, Y, Z, or to live in a certain kind of house, or, anything that is outside of yourself. And so one of the things that I've really, really learned and have taken to heart lately is that it's really about that day-to-day journey and about what's happening in my head and in my heart. When I learned to really get back to the joy of writing, like, why was I doing this in the first place? What did I most want to get out of this career? And I started focusing on the things that brought me joy on a day-to-day basis. Then it suddenly didn't matter as much what those daily sales are. It didn't matter as much how many books I had sold. What mattered was, am I happy today with what I'm writing? And am I, moving in the direction I want to go? And there are still times when I get bogged down, or I start to compare myself to other people, or I start to think about, that next level. Like, yes, I want to buy a mansion on the marsh with a deep water dock that's close to the beach. It's like, I want that life. I want to drive the car that I want to drive. And, I would love to be a USA Today bestseller. There's lots of things that I want, but I no longer hold those things out as like, I'll be happy when, and I'm going to be okay being miserable and hustling and striving and working as hard as I can every day, 60 hours a week or whatever, to get that. And then when I get that, expecting that moment in time or that house or that car to make me happy, because I know better. If I truly want to be happy, I have to be happy right here, sitting in my rental house, in my office, exactly where I am right now. If I can do that, then I can joyfully every single day work toward that goal of getting that mansion on the marsh. Because if I made myself miserable over the next 5 years to get that mansion, suddenly moving into that mansion doesn't mean like, oh, now I've made it and I never have to work again and I can take a 5-year nap, right? That's not what it means. It means you're still going to have to hustle hard to afford that monthly payment on that mansion on the marsh, right? It is so much more satisfying to be joyful along the way. I would so much rather be happy every single day working toward that mansion on the marsh, even if it takes me 10 years, or even if I never actually get there. If I am happy every single day working on the things I know that bring me joy and the stories I know that are going to be exciting. And like I talked about in the first tip, if you haven't seen those, you can find the links down below to watch this whole series. But, it's your choice whether to focus on the things you don't have, or the things other people have that you wish you had and feel negative about it, or to be grateful for the things you have and excited about the things you're working toward. It's the same life. You're still sitting here in exactly where you're sitting, but it's a matter of what are you choosing to focus on, the negative things you don't have or the things that you truly are blessed and excited to have. Like, I could be sitting here in this townhouse and thinking, it sucks that we're renting and we didn't get to buy a brand new house. And I really wish that we lived closer to my son's school, or, and it's no fair that somebody else who's been only writing for 3 years is making more money than I am. And I've never hit the USA Today, and Amazon's got this KU thing and it's affecting my income. And I could just sit here and wallow in all the things that are wrong with my current situation, like all the things that are not perfect, happy, amazing life. Or, I could sit here and complain about it, and I would feel bad. I would feel tired. I wouldn't want to write. And, I would spend the next how many years of my life being miserable. Well, moving into that mansion on the marsh, even if I did hit that level, wouldn't make me suddenly happy. And I know that from experience, not because I have the mansion, but because I hit that similar level of income. And it didn't make me happy. Or I could sit here in exactly the same position, exactly the same life, and think, oh my gosh, how lucky were we, even though we didn't get to buy a house when we first moved here, how lucky were we to find a house like this with all these windows and a marsh view, and we can drive 2 miles to the beach. And how lucky am I to have this office all to myself? Like, wow, that is just such a huge thing. I've never had an office all to myself in my life. And this is a big, big deal for me. How lucky am I to be able to buy the planner that I really want to buy, to have this amazing son that I absolutely love, that we tried, just about every infertility treatment in the book to bring into our lives. How lucky and blessed am I to have him? How great is it to have a husband who doesn't have to work because I can provide for our family and he can follow his dreams? Yes, I can be upset about what, Amazon has done to Kindle Unlimited, or I can choose instead to be incredibly grateful for some of the other vendors that have really been there for me, when Amazon has kind of changed the game over there with their exclusivity program. Like, oh my gosh, thank goodness for, the great people at Kobo that have these amazing promotional opportunities. Thank goodness for some of the new reps at Barnes & Noble who are working so hard to make the platform better. Thank God for my Google reps who are just incredibly kind and they're working hard to make their store better. Thank God for my Apple Books team that is always supportive of me and who, sent me an email when I hit #1 in paranormal last week. It's my choice. I could sit here and I could complain, sure, about the problems in the industry or the things that are challenges, but what would be the point? How does that move me forward toward anything that's going to bring me joy? It doesn't. All it does is make me complain. One of the main reasons that I stopped teaching elementary school, when I got out of graduate school, I had a master's degree in opera, if you can believe it. And instead of following my dream of being an opera singer at the time, which I realized was not really something I wanted to do, I started teaching elementary school music. And one of the reasons that became such a dangerous job for me was that even though I loved teaching music, every time I walked into the teacher's lounge in that particular school, all anybody did was complain all the time, complain about the principal, complain about the students and how there's no support from parents, and complain about the curriculum and how they've got to teach the test. And, it was literally like every time you would walk into a group of other teachers, and I'm not speaking for every teacher, I'm just talking about the community that I was in. They were great, great people, but I just realized that it became almost like the social norm to just sit and wallow in all the things that were wrong with our lives. And I was so incredibly unhappy. And, I allowed that to happen in my life. Well, I'm not going to allow that to happen again in my life as an author, because I am doing something that I truly love to do, and I am going to be grateful for that every day. And yes, there are going to be hardships. There are going to be things. There are things every single day about this business that drive me crazy, that are frustrating, that are difficult, that I wish I could wrap my head around, that I wish I could do better. But instead of focusing on the negative, I choose to focus on joy. I truly choose to focus on the things that bring me happiness, the things that move me forward, instead of walking into the, teacher's lounge of indie authors, like instead of walking into the Facebook groups full of indie authors and just allowing myself to get wrapped up in the complaining about Kindle and this and that, and why did they do this and readers this, and instead of allowing that into my existence, I have just stepped away from groups like that because it is so much more important to my mental health and to my joy as a human being to instead focus on the solutions. Yes, Kindle Unlimited has affected my income as an author who is outside of their exclusivity program. But instead of sitting around complaining about how that has changed, instead I've been focusing on how can I increase my readership at other vendors like Kobo and Barnes & Noble and Google Play. How can I focus more on my readership at Apple, which now I'm selling more books at Apple every month than I ever did at Amazon. So how can I, be grateful for that? What's exciting about that? What new series can I start thinking about when I'm done writing these 5 series? I've talked about this throughout this whole entire 8-part series that I started the year writing 5 series all at once. Well, I am happy to say that I have cleared out 2 of those series, and I'm currently working on finishing the final book in a 3rd series. So as soon as 2019 hits, I'll have 2 series going only. And that is a huge accomplishment. And I can choose to be upset about my income dropping last year and all these problems in the industry, or I can choose to be totally excited about the fact that I accomplished this huge thing of finishing out 3 series this year and writing more books than I ever have before, and that I'm proud of those books and that I've really made connections with my fans. And you have that choice in your life too. You can focus on the negative and the things you don't have and the things that people have done, or the choices vendors have made, or the hardships that you have in your life, and you can be miserable. And you can strive and you can focus on the business side of things and tell yourself excuses like, well, I have to write this trendy genre that I hate because there's no other way to make money. You are fully free to tell yourself that lie if you want. Or you can decide that you are going to be happy and grateful for what you have, and you're going to find a way to make money and be happy writing what you're writing. And whatever that looks like for you is going to be a very individual thing in terms of what you want to write, what you're willing to write, what turns you on, what lights you up. But the more you can focus on your own joy, your own positive mindset, your own motivation and excitement, I guarantee you the more successful you are going to be. That may not always translate into a mansion on the marsh or $1 million, but I can guarantee you that over the long term of your career, you are going to be massively more successful than if you focused on the negative and the things you didn't have. Because I can tell you from my own personal experience that there is no level, no house, no car, no, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 level of income that is going to just magically make you happy if you're not happy inside. I highly encourage you to work on focusing on the joy of this career, the joy of the writing, the things that you love to write, and find that balance between good business sense, coming up with strategy that works, but also writing the kinds of books that you truly love. If you want to hear more on that, I do have a video about should you write for love or money that just barely touches on this topic. But there is a way to write what you love and make money doing it. You don't have to just completely cut your heart out of your art to be a successful indie publisher. I hear, I went to RWA conference this summer and so many people said, well, I would love to write young adult fiction, but everyone tells me you can't make money writing young adult. But that's not true. Me, Amy Patrick, those of us on my YA panel, we're all 6-figure authors writing young adult fiction. It is possible to write what you truly love. So don't listen to people who actively discourage you from following your dreams. There is a way for you to be joyful all during this path, no matter what hardships may come your way. So I hope that you will take this to heart and truly focus on joy in your indie career. Look at it this way, guys. Like, seriously, if you think about all the different jobs that you could get in your life, yes, one of the great things about being a self-published author or an entrepreneur at all is that there is no ceiling. So you could literally double your income. You could make 6 figures. There's no limit to what you can achieve, but it's very difficult. There's a huge learning curve. There is so much of ourselves that we put into this, and especially as authors, because it's not like we're just creating courses or we're just creating nonfiction things that we can follow checklists and all of these things, or like showing up to coach people or whatever. What we're doing as authors is we're literally creating worlds. We're creating characters out of thin air. We're pouring our heart and soul. We're learning an art and we are pouring ourselves into it. And it can take months, if not years, to come up with a story world or story ideas or plot. We spend so much time on the creative part of it. Then we have all of the business on top of it. It's not an easy job. If you were just looking to make money, there are so many more things that you could do with your life than take on the challenge of being an indie author. There are jobs out there where people pay for your insurance and give you salary and bonuses and vacation days and all of that sort of thing. And you only have to show up from 8 to 5 and then you get to go home and you don't have to work in the evenings. It's amazing. And yes, there are limits sometimes to what you can earn at jobs like that. So there is a perk to being an indie author that, you might be able to hit 6 figures or double your income or whatever. But the sad and honest truth is that the majority of authors, a huge majority of authors, never make a full-time living at this. So if you're going to do it and you're going to dedicate yourself to trying to make it as an author, then you should at least be writing something that you love, fulfilling that creative part of yourself and making yourself joyful. If you're just in it for the money, can't you go and find another job that isn't quite this hard? Then you could write on the side and just enjoy it as a hobby. Enjoy it as something that didn't like make the difference between whether your family eats tonight or not. I'm just saying there are a lot of things that you could do as a career that could bring in steadier money, where you would work a lot less hours and it would be a lot easier. But if you're going to write, do it for the joy. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is not something that you're just going to jump into and immediately start making tens of thousands of dollars for like 99.999% of us. It takes years of hard work and dedication. So if you're going to take this risk and climb this mountain, you should at least be joyful while you're doing it. Write the kinds of books that you love, but do it in a smart way. And like I said, if you guys want to see more videos on what I mean by that, like writing to market being that you're writing the most marketable thing that you love to write, and not like just writing to trends or writing something that you don't enjoy thinking that you're going to make money really fast, then let me know down below and I'll be happy to give you guys some more videos on that. But if you're going to do this very difficult job, instead of choosing a job that comes with insurance and bonus and vacation days, then at least do it with joy. All right, guys, that is the end of our 8-part series. I sincerely hope that some of these tips have resonated with you. Continue to learn, be good to your fans, stop comparing yourself to others, and really work on your mindset. You can create truly a life that you love as a writer, as an indie published writer. So hopefully that resonates with you. And, if there are certain videos you'd love to see from me, then please leave a comment down below, or you can always email me at sarah@heartbreathings.com, and I would love to hear from you. So, all right, guys, that is the end of this 8-part series to celebrate 8 years of successful self-publishing. And I sincerely hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope that if you did, you'll hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you'll get notified every time a new video comes up from me. I will be offering my 3-day boot camp coming up in December. So if you're interested in that, there is a waiting list notification email to get more information down below as well. And I'm excited to announce that I will also be offering my first self-publishing course. This is a course that I taught a few years back for RWA, but I have revamped the whole course and I'm currently working on getting all of those videos recorded. But this will be like at least a 6-week intensive course on everything you need to know about self-publishing, and there will be a lot more marketing advice in that course. So if you're interested in news about that, I also have a sign up link below where you can sign up to get more information as soon as that course goes live, and I have pricing and everything else for it. So if you're interested, let me know. I would love to have you there. Otherwise, feel free to reach out to me if any of these tips struck a chord with you, or comment down below if there's anything more you need to know or you would like to ask. I am an open book and I'm here for you guys. So, all right, that is actually the end of it. Thank you so much for hanging out, and be sure to go watch tips 1 through 7, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.